I just came from a office Christmas party. That's why I'm like, the holidays are about to be here. So I decided that I was going to tell you about one of the best Christmas movies you'll ever watch in your entire life. That's right. It's called Black Christmas. All right, I'm trying to make this as quick as possible because I don't want to spoil too much until the spoiler section. But it's a good movie. You know how for some reason every Christmas or every like Thanksgiving, holiday season, they decide to put out Halloween movies. Yeah, it's a slasher film, but it takes place during Christmas. Okay, so I will say up front, the reason I started watching this movie is because my sister has a poster of this movie just like hanging up in her room, and she had it there for the longest time because I think she worked at a movie theater or something. So I'm like, what? Like that poster looks like dope. Do you see it? It's right there. Yeah. Doesn't that look dope? Anyways, the movie takes place in a college sorority. You have a girl who essentially is trying to figure out what like her plans are going to be for Christmas, because most of her friends are leaving to go see their families during Christmas, and I believe she's staying in the sorority house during the holiday. I think it's like her and a handful of girls are staying at the house during the holiday. So beginning of the movie is that one of the girls is supposed to be on her way home, but there's like a weird dark figure like following her, and eventually this figure like attacks her and kills her, and it's like, what is this? Like, what's going on? So the movie itself moves on and like explores more of like who this figure was, who that girl was, why she was relevant to the story, all those things, right? And it does it through the lens of a girl who is in sorority housing. She had a bad experience at like a Christmas party, I think a year prior, with one of the frat bros who like recently graduated, who assaulted her. And her whole thing is that like she was assaulted at this party, and she reported it. She had to deal with people not believing her, all kinds of things related to that, and she's still like getting over the trauma of that situation, and all the while trying to figure out like what to do with her like Christmas vacation. I will say the movie is worth watching because you will never guess where it's going. You will never guess where this is going. If you want to watch the movie without any spoilers, I'll give you a couple of seconds. And now I'm going to spoil the movie for you. All right, this movie is it was an allegory for the patriarchy. The frat bros are all like red pillars. They're like, these bitches keep, accusing us of assault and like, ruining our lives and blah, 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 whatever. And so we should literally kill them. I wish I was joking. All the frat guys like found out that like the statue of the founder of this like, I think it's a made up college that they go to, it has like magic powers. It has a magic power to like imbue them with some kind of strength, and it also like brainwashes men. It like brainwashes men into becoming these like these hitmen, these soldiers who can just like, I don't know, kill whoever they decide to kill, right? And so they decide, we're gonna kill the sorority girls. Now, the cool thing about the movie is the beginning has a girl from a sorority house, and she's like, oh, I'm going, to see my family, whatever. All the girls in her sorority house that they show are girls that you do not see throughout the movie. They have nothing to do with like the main story of the movie that's in the middle here, right? So you see these girls, they're in their house, the friend gets attacked, and then it shows that maybe these girls also got attacked as well, and then it cuts it off, and then it goes to the story with the protagonist who is trying to figure out like what to do like with her life after she's sort of confronted her rapist, right? And so the reason why those girls were important is because the main protagonist and like her friends, they also get attacked by like, these like weird hooded figures, right? And they fight their way out, and they try to figure out how to get to like the police, security, like whatever, to like figure out what's going on. And while they're driving to see if maybe like other people are still home that they can like enlist to help them, and also figuring out that like the frat house has something to do with it, because the main girl saw the statue and saw the ritual and was like, that's kind of strange, and then just, you know, didn't think about it until all the other weird stuff started happening, right? So while they're driving, they run into the girls from the beginning of the movie, who not only did they survive, they beat the shit, like they fucked up whatever soldiers were sent after them. They were like, you don't fuck those girls. They all hop into a fucking Jeep and they're like, we're fighting back. We're fighting back. So it becomes this allegory of like the patriarchy, because you have all these things of, you have a boy who's interested in the main girl, who like his whole thing is that like he is like a genuinely like nice man who just wants to like be nice to her, take her out, you know, he has like a crush on her, all this stuff, right? But she has a hard time like trusting him. People are like, he's kind of weird, like he keeps popping up in places or whatever. That guy gets enlisted and brainwashed and becomes a part of the fraternity. You have the professor, who for some reason is British. It's Carrie Ewells from Princess Brides. He plays a professor who essentially is like, you need to stop all this harassing the boys, you know, with these allegations type of nonsense, right? Like he's very clearly on the side of the men, not on the side of the girl who was assaulted by one of those men. He has like an issue with a friend of the main character who is supposed to be like the like feminist archetype character, who's like all about saying that, you know, the patriarchy needs to be toppled, that like all of these systems that are perpetuating like rape culture and things like that on campus need to be stopped. And she's like, the movie has shown that she's actually like done work to have some changes done to the campus, which is the reason why the statue was activated in the first place, because the statue, I believe, was somewhere like omnipresent, you know, somewhere like important on the campus. Like it was like actually like present to everyone. And she got a petition filed to move that into like some kind of storage or whatever. And that teacher saw that the statue had magic powers when he was moving the statue into like some sort of secluded area. And so he was like,
it's time. The men shall rise up and topple the women who are oppressing them.
That was his whole thing. That was his whole thing in the first place, and it made no sense. He's basically like in charge of all the boys who are doing this. It's like the professor, for some reason the frat bro who graduated, who was a rapist, he came back for this like ritual that they were gonna have on Christmas, which was to essentially get the boys to be imbued with the powers of this statue of their founder, who was like some man, you know, some guy. Maybe I'll put some like text information about him here or something, whatever. He was some guy. And they get imbued with that power to like kill the women that they don't like, right? Like the interesting part about the like meta commentary behind it is that like they even enlist the idea of like how in some cases, usually in cases of like rape culture, there's like at least a handful of women who are like, I guess you would call them pick-me's now, but they're usually like on the side of the men of like, you guys need to leave those men alone. They're just trying to be good men, yada yada, this and that, you know, like you bitch, you know, like that kind of shit. They have a woman like that. She's actually one of the sorority girls in the house of the main girl, right? So it seems as though she gets attacked, but she doesn't. She actually is on the side of the men, and she was like helping them like let people inside, get their personal belongings in order for the ritual to happen, because they needed personal belongings to like set the targets for the ritual, all this other crazy shit, right? I think her boyfriend is one of the dudes. She's like, yeah, baby, I'm one of the good ones. And they kill her. They're like, no, you're a woman also. So like, there's like a weird thing where like one of the girls has a boyfriend who the whole time seems like a nice and supportive like boyfriend, and then between hearing the like feminist friend talk about her general activism, the things that she wants to change on campus for like the men's behavior in general and stuff, it just like drives him over a cliff. He gets like super pissed at his girlfriend, he gets super pissed at the women, and he's just like, he basically just starts spouting a bunch of fucking like red pill talking points like this.
What did you girls expect? Excuse me?
I told you something like this was gonna happen. Okay, you humiliated those guys up there. Of course they're pissed.
And that gives them an excuse to harass us?
What if a bunch of frat bros had gotten up and sang a song about how, I don't know, women were just bimbos who like to show off their tits, then yeah, you'd be livid.
It's a little different, Smash.
How? Why are you allowed to say all this shit about men and we're supposed to just sit here and take it?
Because men have all the power.
Not all men have power.
Did you just not all men me?
And it was just like, it had nothing to do with the statue, nothing to do with the magic. He was just a shitty dude all along, and I think he died. Like, so it was like, whatever. Overall, it got very, very like hokey towards the end, but I personally love that part of it because it got like ridiculous to a point where like the main character got to like literally confront her rapist and kill him. She got to kill him. It was like, now it's all over, you know. They had like a nice little like fight scene at the end that was like that was exactly where I wanted it to go. Like, if you're gonna take this like crazy premise of like, okay, the men are literally gonna start killing the women in this the men are literally going to start killing the women in this hammer on the head, nail on the head, hammer it down, very obvious like commentary about the patriarchy. You might as well have like a big fight scene where the girl who's been like attacked by a man gets to beat up and or kill that man because he's like the representation of all the things that have traumatized her so far, at least as far as the story goes. They don't really show too much about the aftermath of how, like, you know, all these people are dead. All these dudes are like dead on campus or whatever, and some of the women are dead too. And like, it was just like, and then we finally got to have a nice Christmas, you know. Oh, also the nice guy who got like brainwashed, he, you know, there was like a boss battle with that, and like they got to like snap him out of it, and he also got to enact the whole idea of like, you know, him being a nice guy. He didn't necessarily save the women, but he did try to sacrifice himself in order to help, because he immediately, like, once he snapped out of it, he was like, this is wrong. I would never support attacking women like this, you know, yada yada, whatever. So I'm gonna do as much as I can to help. Another thing that was very interesting about the movie was that the feminist friend, she's like portrayed as she's portrayed kind of like a cartoon character version of like the feminist character, you know, the one who's like all the things that those like weird incels like complain about, right? She essentially was that, and she was like on the campus always like talking about how the patriarchy needs to be toppled, and like how things need to change on campus because, you know, times have changed and women deserve respect, that sort of thing, right? Equality needs to, you know, be a thing. And most of her conversations with the main girl about her assault were very like she downplayed it a lot. And so there was like a point in the movie where that character literally was like,
Okay.
This is just getting started.
No, how about we
You're
just
not
take a deep
listening to me. Probably I wouldn't even be missing if I just gone home like I wanted to, instead of you forcing me to sing your dumb song.
My song. That was my song? We did that for you.
I wouldn't have sung it if you didn't. You're so pushy, Chris. You never stop, do you? You just
I don't
push
stop
and you push.
because they don't stop.
Well, not everybody wants to be like you. Some of us are quite happy to just disappear.
and that's when like things like really clicked for her, and she was like, oh shit, I've not been the best, you know, I'm gonna, you know, fix that, whatever, right? And they had like a nice growing moment from it. That was interesting to like, that was unexpected and interesting to see in the movie. Up until you get to the point about like finding out about the statue and stuff, the motivation for whatever the killer is seemed very, very confusing, because like you had people who had nothing to do with anything getting killed, and it was just like, why? It was like, why her? That girl was completely like she had nothing to do with like the frat boys or any of that shit. But you know, they were just like, a woman killer. That was the whole process. I don't know. It was very strange. I mean, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Like, what did you watch the movie? Did you enjoy it? Let's talk about it in the comments. Like tell me how you feel about it. Tell me how you feel about this. Like, is there anything I'm missing? Because I'm probably missing something. But like, you know, let's chop it up. Anyways, you know, like, comment, subscribe, do all that cool shit. Hit the notification bell to, you know, be notified for whenever I actually post more things, because I'm trying to be more consistent with that. Or at the very least, I'm trying to put out the big one and then yeah. Damn, how did this end up so long?